What's going on, team? Welcome to an episode of the Keep Going Podcast, Season 2. This is your co-host, Luke Wheat, coming out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Before the show starts, make sure to follow us on our socials, okay? Twitter, the Keep Going Pod, Insta, the KG Podcast, and YouTube at the KG Pod. Just a reminder that we are not psychiatrists and not psychologists, just a couple ex-athletes trying to make a difference and end the stigma of mental health. Thank you guys for listening, and let's get to the show.
That keep going moment.
My keep going moment.
That's my keep going moment.
Let's keep going. Welcome, team, to episode 49 of the Keep Going Podcast, Athletes Shining a Light on Mental Health. This is one of your co-hosts, Luke Wheat, coming out of Knoxville, Tennessee. We're joined by the whole crew today. We got Pat O'Malley down here, and we got Jackie Tripp. Jackie, where are you coming out of today?
I'm coming out of Plymouth today. I wish I could say I was somewhere sunnier because this is like the 16th weekend in a row it's rained here, but my spirits are high, so I can't complain.
Yeah. Pat, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, so I'm actually out in McChesney Park, Illinois at Athletes HQ, kind of one of my side hustles here. So shout out to HQ, shout out to Rockford area. Definitely excited to have D. Mitch on the call today. For sure.
No, 100%. D. Mitch, welcome, man. Rock Valley and Union Baseball. Love it, dude. You played for Pat down here. You played for Petey, which is one of our good buddies, and the Petersen brothers have been on the pod. We've heard that you're a power pipe aficionado. So you got to tell us a little bit about that, and tell us, it was our first sponsor on the pod. So tell us a little bit about power pipe before we just get going into anything else.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to say thanks for having me today. Yeah, power pipe. I started going to the Petersen power pipe when I was about 7th grade, maybe 6th grade. Started swinging that when he first started back at the first place, the old barn. I started getting baseball lessons from Steve Petersen. Shout out to Steve Petersen. It's been a huge influence on my life and my baseball career. And so I just started going there, training there, and basically was using the power pipe throughout my whole entire baseball career, and it's the best product out there for sure.
Okay. Well, there's our testimonial on power pipe. I wanted to get that one in early so everybody would hear it. We're excited to have you on, man. We're excited. I love having baseball guys on, mainly just because of how different of a sport it is to everything else. It's one of the most beautiful games out there. It causes a lot of emotion. It causes a lot of just, built up excitement and then a release of it at one time. Baseball is one of my favorite sports to watch. One thing we do here, it's episode 49. So I'm going to shout out a number 49 back in the day, and that's Chris Sale. We got a big, hefty lefty. I know you're an outfielder, but I want to bring on a big guy to talk about a little bit for episode 49. And the next thing we do is weekly mental health shout out. So what you've been doing this week for your mental health. Jackie, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, I got you. Also number 49, Tim Wakefield, but he's a Boston guy. So
Okay.
Mental health wise this week, I think I finished that book that I've been telling everyone and their mom about. And
Wait. What book was that again?
Are you being sarcastic?
Yeah.
Yeah, our listeners don't know though.
Love, I mentioned it last week. Love People Use Things by the guys, The Minimalists. They have 2 documentaries too on Netflix, and then they have 2 books, but that book's really good. So I finished that book this week, and then I also took time to rest instead of trying to run around on 5-6 hours of sleep. I made sure I was well rested with like a solid 6 or 7 hours versus 5 or 6, and that was definitely key.
Yeah, 100%. 5 or 6 is pushing it, Jackie. I don't know about 5 or 6.
I know.
5 or 6. Pat, what'd you do this week?
I think first and foremost, I have to shout out Jackie for her stuff. I know that's been a super, super big focus for her to kind of take a step back and be like, hey, I got to get some more sleep. I got to do more stuff for myself. And not only that, but she's been telling everyone about that book. But not only that, but she's been sending out copies and putting in different group chats. Just an amazing soul. So I just want to shout out Jackie before anything. My mental health this week is going to actually be today. I've kind of been banged up. I've had a cold the last couple of days, and finally getting healthy now. And I think today, having the family, having some friends over for football, That's going to be big for my mental health. So once again, getting back with my people, getting healthy, I think goes a long way. David, how about you?
Yeah. So for this week, I think I kind of focus on nutrition and exercise this week. So I've been trying to not only get into the gym, but also do like a outside workout, outside, such as like bike riding, walking the dog, whatever it is, playing some golf outside, getting outside before, the cold comes. So that, and then part of it, I'm trying to do like meal prep. So for the week, so I cook a lot, make some good meals for the week, just get right for it.
Man, I am proud of you for that, because meal prepping is like one of those things when I think about it, and Pat's a huge meal prepper. I don't know what it is about my personality, but whenever I start to think about meal prep, it's like anxiety overload. So it's something that I'm trying to be better on. And I can tell it's whenever school's out of season, like in the summers, I can do it. So it must be just that anticipation of school coming Monday and the busyness and that kind of thing. But yeah, props to you for being a meal prepper, and Pat as well. Jackie, do you get into meal prepping at all?
No, like same thing with you. I don't know why it's so overwhelming to me. Like I think it's just the start of the week and I'm like, oh, now I have to prep all these meals. But my sister and I have been trying to get into it because it is helpful once you do it.
Yeah,
it's just
100%.
hard to get into.
Yeah, for me, it's just like, well, just throw it away. Just throw the week away if I got a meal prep.
Luke, I didn't know we'd get here this early on, but like we're almost 50 episodes in, and I haven't gone in my rant about air fryers yet. So here it is.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Air fryers, that changed the entire game. For all the people that are out there and they're looking at Jackie, looking at Luke, going, I'm that person. Air fryer. Grab a $20 air fryer, put it on the counter, tell everybody about it, like that book we were touching on. Air fryers changed my life. I don't know if David uses it, but that was my shameless plug. If any air fryer sponsors want to sponsor us, let me know.
Amazing. I love that. This week for my mental health, man, I'm the head of Dawson House at Webb School. So we have a house system. It's 6 houses. Everybody from 6th grade to 12th grade is in it. We had an upper school meeting this week, excuse me, about leadership, which really tied into the Dakota Fitz episode. Coach Fitz, our offensive coordinator and head coach over there, really tied into that meeting really well. So this week, we took a little survey that kind of puts you in your direct, there's a million different ways to categorize your personality, but this one was, north, south, east, and west. And east is kind of like a free loving, carefree, kind of go with the flow kind of person. And then west is kind of that type A, and, plan everything out, all that kind of different things, personality. And you've got your different various ones for north and south as well. My kind of self-help thing this week was understanding what my personality is and what my strengths were in the classroom, but also trying to figure out what my students' personalities were specifically and try to how to incorporate them and make them feel more comfortable in the classroom. Which is kind of insane that I hadn't thought about that necessarily before, because I was reading the Conscious Coaching book, which is kind of how to coach an individual athlete within a team setting. But yeah, it really helped this week with one, my motivation to get resources put together, and two, kind of just let the students guide the lesson a little bit more than usual. So that was really cool for me this week.
No, Luke, I love that, man. And like I tell our listeners all the time, like your growth with your students over the last year with your players is something. If you're looking for a roadmap in that kind of direction, I listened to episode 1 with Luke and listened to our last couple of weeks. Like just his growth has been inspiring, Luke. So I appreciate all you do. I know your players and obviously your students appreciate you as well.
Thank you, man.
No, of course. I think it's a pretty nice segue over to David. So David, we ask our guests every week, why did you want to jump on with us? Why did you feel like you were a good fit for? So introduce yourself and kind of talk about why you're a good fit to jump on with the KG gang today.
Yeah. So I started listening to your podcast. I think it was like last year in the winter time. I was down in Barberville, Kentucky, kind of like getting used to the adjustment. And I really liked the stories that were on here from athletes, shining light on their mental health. And I think when I was down there, I was kind of just like getting through it. And it really helped me get through my career as an athlete, finishing my career strong. Just talking about what you guys do on here, little stuff every day, which helped me. And I wanted to share my story on that as well as an actor.
No,
absolutely.
I love that. I love that. And David, while we're here, man, be honest. We're a pretty unscripted, we're a pretty candid podcast. When you got to, I always call it Bourbonville. When you got to Barberville, you hated it, if I remember correctly. So talk about first Kentucky. Talk about that for our listeners. I need to know.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a big adjustment, big cultural change from where I was at. I think the population down there is like 6,000 people in the town. There's nothing there, and I think my high school was like 4,000 people. So the whole town was 6,000 people, and my high school was 4,000 people. So it was a total adjustment. But honestly, at the end of the day, after the year went through, looking back at it, I wouldn't change a thing. I loved it down there. It was definitely hard, but I really enjoyed it down there.
No
Big
doubt.
D. I'm from Pikeville, Kentucky. So where U Pike is, so there are about 6,000, 7,000 people down there. And I got to tell you, I had the same experience just moving to Knoxville, Tennessee. So, and you're going from 6,000 to, about, I can't even remember what Knoxville was, not even going to try. But a bigger city down here. So I completely understand the like moving to a different place and the culture shock. It's not an easy thing. For me, it's kind of the opposite. I feel home in the mountains whenever there's not a lot of stuff around and you can kind of get, in Barberville or Bourbonville, as Pat was saying, is not as tucked in there as Pikeville is. But yeah, man, I feel comfortable up there, and it was a weird adjustment for me kind of moving down to Knoxville as well. So it's not an easy thing to do to move away from home.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt. And David, I'll kind of just backtrack a little bit, but I had to touch on that because I think that's hilarious, like how your career kind of worked out. But I want to backtrack a little bit. You're a guy in your career as a student athlete that's had a lot of ups and downs. And I'm gonna be very candid. It did not start off well in this game for you. Like you had a lot of setbacks, a lot of adversity. Walk through little man David Mitchell when you picked up the pipe, when you got with Steve. Give our audience a little bit of prelude of how we got to this point, because you're already telling us you wouldn't change a thing, but walk me through like those days, like early on for you.
Yeah, early on, like 7th, 8th grade, I started working out with a good group of guys. Shout out the facility boys. Those guys really pushed me to be the person that I am today. But walking through it, I was never the best person on the field. I always had to work hard, and mentally, I was super hard on myself. I think mentally, because I wanted to be so great, but at the moment, I just needed to focus on going day to day, getting better every single day, not where you're going to end up, but just take it one step at a time. I think going through, because I was never the best athlete. I always had to work hard for it. I had like big dreams to play college baseball. Had one offer out of high school, and that was to Rock Valley. So I went through high school, worked hard through high school, had a good career. Committed to Rock Valley College late. I think it was like in the summer or something like that.
Never forget.
Went there for 2 years. Definitely had a good career there. I was able to do pretty good. Our team was really good group of guys there. And then after that, I think 2020 was COVID. So started off the career really hot. Started because it was a 2-year school, so I had to start looking for new schools after that. So I was looking around. It was kind of tough with the recruiting process of that for me, because I was kind of like betting on myself for a good sophomore year, and I only got to play like 15 games, something like that. Right. So after that was up, going through the college search, I ended up at Mount Mercy University, which was a 4-year university in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That honestly, through that story, I'll talk a little bit later, but that was a tough adjustment for sure to go in there. A really good NAIA school, and then after that, things didn't work out there, and I decided to go to grad school for my fifth year, get my grad school and play baseball at Union College.
Yeah, but Dave, stop there. I know when I see the group start nodding that they have something to say, so I'll chime in first. For our listeners that are trying to play college athletics, you mentioned you had one college offer. One. Obviously, I was the school based on various connections, Steve Petersen being one of them and countless other people. For our listeners that are trying to reach that goal and they might not have offers yet, maybe this fall, wintertime, spring, summer, any advice for them?
Honestly, I would just say you got to keep grinding every single day. It will happen. It will. Believe in yourself. Reach out to college coaches. Somebody will take a chance on you for sure. If you do the right things, do it every single day, talk to them, and just keep grinding every single day, and it'll work out.
Thank you for that. I just want to make that clear. We got people out there thinking they might never get one, but if you do the right things, awesome. Luke, what do you got?
Yeah, I kind of want to touch on two things, and I got a little question about the Mount Mercy story because I can tell there's a lot there. The first thing is you had so much pressure to try and be great, right? And I think it really comes down to, and I want to talk to the athletes out there right now listening to this that also feel that pressure because that was something that I went through. It's not all going to come at one time, right? If you look at the greatest of the athletes in the sports, right? If you look at the quarterback documentary on Netflix this summer, you got Cousins, you got Mahomes, and I can't remember who else was on there, but every single one of them, they would go out there and do the fundamentals every single day, right? They would do the little things every single day, and they were just getting 0.5%, 1%, 2% better every day. If you're struggling right now in high school to get that college offer, get back to the fundamentals, right? Ask your coach what you need to do to get better. Have a willingness to learn. I think that's super important. And then be ready for the truth, right? Your coach is going to tell you the truth, and you got to be willing to accept that and use that to get better. They're there to help you, and just listen to them. So that's the kind of first thing I want to touch on. It kind of goes back to that getting 1% better a day. It's not all going to come at one time. Dave, Big D, I want you to talk a little bit about Mount Mercy, man. Talk about a little bit of adversity that you went through in the past.
Yeah, definitely. Mount Mercy was definitely some ups and downs in my career. So going into my junior year at Mount Mercy, I won the starting spot on the field for right field or whatever, because so many people put a lot of pressure on themselves for, winning, earning the spot, right? So I won the spot there. Like, that's all I worked hard for, basically. Started off really, really good junior year, first month of the season. And then middle of the season started really struggling on the field. Wasn't hitting the ball at all. I think I went 0 for 40. That's really hard mentally as an athlete, as I put so much pressure on myself to be I want to be great, just keep on grinding away. And I think sometimes you just gotta take a step back and breathe a little bit. But my engine just keep on going, trying to figure it out. And I just basically at the end of the year was not playing at all and did not start at all at the end of the year. Did not play, just on the bench. And as an athlete, all athletes want to be on the field, right? And for me just to be like being out there, like going through the pregame and then being benched, which was super, super hard mentally on my game. So that happened my junior year. And then my senior year, this is my last year basically of baseball. I was thinking, basically similar thing happened, but at the start of the year, started off great. At the end of the year, wasn't playing again. I was like, dang, I don't want to like kind of just end it like that. Didn't even like, I thought like as a fourth year guy being on the team, I wasn't even like invited to go on to the conference tournament bus. Like I had to sit at home and watch the team at home. And for like how hard I worked, I was like, man, like this really sucks. Like I was like really down on myself and just wanted to like just end it there. So, and then as we know, I went on and transferred to Union College and played there, had a great time, had a great year, and ended off pretty strong. So, which was good. So you just gotta trust the process for sure.
Yeah. What do you got on that, Jackie?
Sorry, I got to unmute myself. Obviously not the situation you want to be in, because I know people that have had to like sit out. I see a lot of this in college when they have to only send certain players to away games and you miss out. And obviously that sucks. But from that time of having to miss out on that, even though you worked your ass off, to fast forward to the year after where you are playing, what would you say was like maybe the most pivotal moment, or what did you learn from that time period?
I think one of the best moments is like I think my coach at Union College was something like, you get the opportunity to be out here. And that really stood with me. Like I can't play this game forever, right? So me being able to have one more chance and get like being able to be out there, really just like I was able to soak it all in and have more fun and not put so much pressure on myself. Like you really like through the days when you like a freshman, sophomore, you really put like a lot of pressure on yourself to like be good and want to play right away. But I would just say you gotta trust the process, because at the end of the day, it will work out for you.
Yeah, and I love that too. Yeah, I love that too. What I would say is, you've mentioned a couple of times, trust the process. Trust the process. I think in 2023, that quote gets thrown around a good amount. What I would say for the group here and our listeners is, you better put the work in, so down the road that will pay off. That's the process, right? The day in, the day out. I think it's like sometimes people are like, I'm just waiting on my one shot, and it never comes because they didn't do anything. So the other things, right? The early mornings, the late nights, the recovery days. You just told me as an adult now that you didn't go out last night because you knew you had to jump on the pod and work 9 hours today. It's holiday weekend and you're in your younger 20s. Like these are the decisions that you're making. And I'm sitting here in my facility right now, just blown away by how beyond your years you are and how you continue to raise the bar, man. I'm proud of you, man. That's all I got.
I appreciate
100%.
that.
100%. Big David, it's a testament to kind of where you started, right? With the Petersen family in 7th to 8th grade. And you took that chance to get the master's degree and do your 5th year at Union College and kind of came full circle with the Petersen family there, man. You never stopped working. And I don't want that to be an underlined part of the story. I want that to be the top part, right? You were always putting in the work, because kind of like Pat said, and we talked about this a lot, Pat. I don't know if you remember, it's kind of side conversations whenever we were starting about the kind of cliches that can get thrown around. we always talked about in the beginning, if we were going to throw a cliche out there, we wanted to dig deeper into it so that it actually had a little bit of meaning for the listeners at home. And trust the process is definitely one of those, right? Talking about the fundamentals earlier, talking about all the different ways that you can improve and get 1% better every day. That's how you're going to trust the process and be able to get to the end goal there for sure. So, Big Dave, you kind of moved on from baseball, right? You did your 5th year at Union. Now you're working your job day to day. Are you working a 9 to 5 right now? What's the work schedule like?
The work schedule's all over the place right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it just depends on the day. Sometimes I open, sometimes I close. So
Okay.
sometimes it's 5 to 2, sometimes it's 12 to 10, sometimes
Okay.
it's 2, all over the board right now.
All
So
right.
yeah.
What do you do for work,
Yeah.
Dave?
Sorry.
What do you do for work?
I'm doing like a business management program at Menards right now.
Okay.
Nice.
Talk to me a little bit. Talk to me a little bit about that transition from athlete to worker, right? What's that transition being like, not having baseball as much in your life anymore and going into the workplace?
I can see it, Luke, already. Baseball to Menards. I can just see it in big letters.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I think you know, at the end of the day, like I was happy with what I did throughout my career, so it was a good transition, I think, for sure, from baseball to work. I'm still trying to, you know, find that purpose.
It's not easy, man. That's not
Purpose.
easy. I struggle with that myself for sure.
Still trying to find something out there. I don't know if I'm gonna do the Menards thing for the long term, but I think it's definitely taught me, like baseball has taught me a lot of life lessons where I can learn from it for sure. Um, yeah.
I was talking to
Yeah.
the head coach of the basketball team at Maryville College the other day, man. And, I think, Pat, are you 27, 28? What are you right now?
28.
28. Okay. I'm 27, just turned 27. I was talking to the Maryville College basketball coach. Shout out Raul Placeres over there. All conference player. He's a dog back in the day. And I was like, had some opportunities early in my career to go coach at a bigger school, blah, 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 this and that. And I was like, I feel like I really messed up that opportunity at the time because I wasn't ready for it. He was like, how old are you? I was like, well, I'm 27. He said, you got time. He was like, you're young. He was like, there's no reason to put pressure on yourself right now. Opportunities are going to come later down the road. He's like, I know it feels like a lot right now and that you haven't figured it out just yet, but opportunities are going to come later and you got time. So I think that was something. I had that conversation 2 or 3 weeks ago, man, and that really resonated with me, and it kind of helped me every day go through the day a little bit more positively. So I don't know if that's something that helps you out, Big Dave, or not, but that's something that I think about a lot right now is my conversation with Raul.
Yeah. Stuff.
Yeah. I think this too, and I'd almost bet half a kidney that Jackie's going to want to touch on the identity piece. But
I'll bet the whole thing. I'll match you.
really bet a kidney that that's kind of on your mind right now. But Dave, what I want to touch on is for our athletes that are leaving the sport, if it's something where like the skill just isn't there anymore, like myself, like Luke, or like Jackie when she got hurt and that was it. Like it was very sudden. It was done. Game over. For our athletes that are going through this, if they're injured, wrapping up their career, just not playing as much as they think they should, whatever it may be, talk about that transition, man. Anything that you did to go from, okay, I am no longer David Mitchell, the baseball player. I am now a family man. I am a friend. I am an employee. Talk about that transition, how that's helped you and what you've done to help or combat that, I should say.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think taking like what I learned throughout my college career and trying to like still like have an impact on other people for sure, like a positive impact on other people. Like when I was at school, my goal was to like try to make someone's day. Like that hasn't changed from the transition from making someone's day at practice or outside or whatever it is, because that's just life lessons that I've brought into my life now after the career's over. And I think you can still do stuff that you're passionate about. Like I still bring into like working out like all the time, working out not baseball wise, but you can still work out just regularly at the gym or outside, so that stuff.
Man, I really hope my girlfriend listens to this episode, because like that's something that we talk about all the darn time. Like, how can I separate this? And how can it not be my full thing? And I love the side hustle aspect. I love the weight room, the diet. There's more challenges away from baseball, basketball, soccer. I promise, for our listeners, like life doesn't just stop, right? Gosh, that is fantastic, man. And I don't even think the group knows this. David Mitchell is the reason I do the Thankful Thursday stuff now. He called me last year, and we're going to go into this now, but like I'm not surprised he talked about this. It's the perfect segue. He's the one that called me like last year when he was at Union, and I've done it every Thursday since. Like, he's the reason why. David, I got to talk a little bit about Thankful Thursday. And do you still do it? Is that something you just did at Union? Talk to me about that and explain to our listeners what that is.
Yeah. So when I was at Union College, our coaches came up with Thankful Thursday. So every single Thursday, first thing you do in the morning or throughout the day, for us, it was like the first when we got to practice. So it was like maybe in the afternoon, 1 o'clock, you would have to take 15 minutes and reach out to somebody, a friend, family member, and tell them what you're thankful for. And for like a good chunk of time, I was doing that. To be honest with you, I kind of stepped away from that a little bit from Union College, Thankful Thursday, but that's definitely one thing that I want to try to keep going with that moving forward.
I got to start Thankful Thursday. I got to start doing it.
That's it, man.
I'll start doing it.
Change your damn life.
Yeah, absolutely. I know me and Pat had talked about this before, but I kind of let it go to the wayside. So I'm gonna start doing that this week for you, Big Dave. I got you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Is it a phone call or is it a text, or does it not matter?
It doesn't matter. I did phone call, but
I like phone call.
Voicemail,
Dave,
but
I got 2 darn voicemails, man. I had to go to the audio message. I always do like the little recordings now.
Yeah.
Because they're not ducking me if I just put it right on them. So that's
Yeah, I think a phone call, if you can do a phone call, that's best. I know Pat did the text to me, maybe it was a month or so ago, and it just makes your day when you hear that from somebody. So if you can do that to other people, it's definitely powerful.
Dave, that's just who you are, man. Like it's you are that guy that shines the light. You are the guy that can be that, hey, I might not have the answer for you, but I got a big smile on my face and I'll be there for you. That's just who you've always been. And you want to talk about a glue guy, like when we were at Rock Valley, it's David Mitchell. It had nothing to do with how he played. It's just who he is. Jackie, I know that Luke cut for a little bit. Anything to add on this before I move on air?
You mentioned this earlier in the episode, but you said something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, but it was along the lines of day by day, like go day by day, because you don't know where you're going to end up. And I think that I was glad you said that, because we talked about that when I was on in the winter, and they talked about that in Adam O'Malley's episode. And I think an issue too with sports is that people forget that skills are transferable. I think people think, okay, I have all these skills. I can swing a bat. I can shoot a basketball. Like, now what? Now I'm not a basketball player. But what you're not realizing is that the intangibles, all those skills you're learning, they transfer to every part of your life. Like, I wish, and Adam says this in his episode, like, I wish that I enjoyed the day by day and the brick by brick more, because I was so focused on like, okay, where is this practice going to get me? If I take these extra shots, like, maybe I can be good enough to go to this school. And I didn't realize that all that really mattered was just being an athlete and being on a team, and how that's going to help me in the long run, because all those extra reps I didn't help me in college, because I never ended up playing college, but it helped me for moments like this and moments of work I've had and experiences I've had. So I like that you touched on that, because I think athletes need to remember that, like Pat touched on with his girlfriend, like there's so much more to it than just like the games you win and your stats. Everything's transferable skills. So I just want to touch back on that, because I like that you mentioned it.
Yeah, I like that.
No doubt, no doubt. And I think the big thing, I saw a video this week that was actually clipped out of The Last Dance, and it was about Michael Jordan. And I don't know how I missed this the first couple of times watching The Last Dance. They talk about how MJ's biggest MJ's biggest separator was being fully present.
Mhm.
Run that back one more time. Was being fully present. It had nothing to do with what Jackie just said, like busting her, you know what, being there. Adam talked about it. Like, I just went and I missed all the good stuff that could have got me further, because I was so focused on getting to that last thing that like most people never get to. But if you fall in love with the process and being fully present, I think that's powerful. So I just wanted to check on that. Well, Dave, I don't want to take a crazy amount of your time. I know you got work coming up later on today, but I got to ask you, man, we've gone over some ups, some downs, some in-betweens. Tell me when everything changed for you, because, man, you're providing some great stuff for our listeners today. Give me your keep going moment.
Yeah, so for me, I think my keep going moment is that transition from Mount Mercy University to Union College. Getting out of my comfort zone and taking that risk to go to Union College in Barberville, Kentucky, which I was really uncertain about. Um, going through those ups and downs moments at Mount Mercer University, like I was like honestly like considering just quitting baseball in general. Um, after that, my fourth year at Mount Mercer University, when I got benched, I was like, maybe I'm not good enough to play. Like, and I just took a week off, stepped away from the game for about like a week or so. I'm like, I can't just quit. Can't quit now. I got one more year left. I had the opportunity there. I'm gonna take it. So I think that's gonna be my keep going moment.
I love it. I love it, man. And for our listeners that are struggling right now, if it's the fall and you had a bad fall, or if you're injured, or if you're academically not where you want to be, if you had something, a family setback, a relationship setback, I love hey, I took some time, I took a step back and said, this is my choice. It's me against me, it's you against you. And look at you now, man. You look back and you had a fantastic career that now you get to talk on podcasts about how awesome it was. Common theme, man. Awesome, awesome stuff. Super proud of you, man. Jackie, what do you got?
No, I thought you just touched on it, and I appreciate how honest you were. And I'm gonna start doing the Thankful Thursdays. I meant to add that into my last bit, but I like that. I'm gonna do the phone call. You just inspired me, so thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
No doubt. Well, Dave, I got one last thing, and I'll get you out of here for today. And I'm totally stealing this from another podcast, and I can't remember where it's from. Give me your favorite memory in the game of baseball, and give me the person that impacted you the most in this game.
So I think I'm gonna start off. A lot of people impacted me for sure throughout this game. I think I had a great support group. My family, for sure. My mom and dad have supported me through my whole entire career. So they have impacted me greatly, driving me to games all throughout my life, coming out to Union College, watching me play throughout my career. So I'm gonna have to say my parents, and then Also, I would have to say in baseball, shout out Steve Petersen.
I knew that going there. Yep.
He impacted my baseball career a tremendous amount. So I can't say enough great things about that guy there. And then what was it? The favorite memory?
Favorite memory, man.
Favorite memory, man. That one's tough, but I think I'm gonna have to say when I was at Union College, we were not supposed to be that good. We had like 10 wins the year before, came back, and we ended up winning the conference championship in the AAC conference. So I'd have to say winning the conference championship my last year of baseball. That's my favorite memory with the team.
Dave, I love it, man. I appreciate your candidness. I appreciate you jumping on and being your authentic self today, man, because we're about 50 episodes in, and it's refreshing when we have people jump on like this that have been through it, man. So I appreciate you. You had the opportunity to rewrite your story, and you did, man. And we're writing it every day, man. Love it. Luke, what do you got?
No, Dave, thanks for coming on here. It's not easy to come on it and kind of speak your truth and talk about your own struggles, but I promise you it's worth it to any of the listeners out there. People want to hear your story. And I think if you start telling it to the people, you won't realize the amount of impact you can have until you start doing that. So Big Dave, thanks for starting that journey today and telling people about your story today. You made a huge impact.
Yeah, thank you.
Jackie?
Yeah, likewise. And I think we touched on a lot of good things today, and I appreciate you coming on. And I need to know who you're rooting for in the World Series, Dave.
Oh man. I'm a Cubs fan, but I think I got the Rangers going.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So do I.
Little Chapman shout out. That's all right. Little Chapman.
Yeah.
Chapman's in there.
Yeah, Stony Brook has a guy on their team too. So I'm thinking, like, yeah, Travis Jankowski is their platoon outfielder. He's got the great flow on the walk-off. You can see him jumping around. He's awesome. I was hoping like they could win one so he could like donate some stuff to the school. That would be sick. So, like,
That'd be sick.
Go Rangers, but I love you guys and I appreciate you guys jumping on. I know it's not easy on a holiday weekend, but Dave, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll get this out today, and above all else, guys, keep going. I appreciate you guys.
Keep going, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Love you guys.
Yes, love you too.